Hello and welcome to English 1 with Mr. Woods. Today's first lesson is chapters 1 and 2 from the Correct Writing Handbook. Now some of these sentences are really long and convoluted. Just bear with us and we'll make it through. Chapter 1 is subjects and predicates, and we're also jumping into chapter 2, which is sentence fragments. This will be the main way that you take notes in this class for at least the first quarter, if it works out well. If not, we may go into lecturing during the class. If you have any questions while you are watching this video, hit the pause button and write the questions in the margin. I'll give the first couple of minutes of class before we go over any exercises for you to ask any questions so that I can clear up anything that may confuse you. So we're going to jump right in. Number 1, a complete, correct sentence has a subject and a predicate. A predicate is essentially another word for a verb, so it has a subject and a verb which is doing an action. The subject is the noun, or the person, place, thing, or idea that governs, controls, performs the predicate or the verb. Essentially, it is the thing that is doing the action of the sentence. So let's take a look at the first example given in the notes. The apprentice does well everything that is assigned to her. So the apprentice is the subject of the sentence, while does is going to be the verb or the action that is taking place in the sentence. Okay, let's move on to example B. Does this train wait for the late travelers? So because this is a question, the verb phrase will be split up. So does wait will be the verb phrase, and train is the one who is doing the waiting. So therefore train will be the subject of the sentence. And the final example, this one is a bit of a longer sentence and is a little bit awkward, but bear with me. Wearing brightly colored clothing and balancing an umbrella on his nose, the clown jumped off the elephant's back. So we're going to go straight to the second phrase after the comma because the other phrase is introductory. And we're going to go to jumped, which is the verb of the sentence. And the clown is doing the jumping, so therefore the clown will be the subject of this sentence. For the next two sentences, why don't you go ahead and identify the predicate or verb and subjects of these, and we will check them on Monday. Hopefully by now you should be able to identify subjects of the sentence. Again, this is kind of review, so we're going to move through this very quickly. 2. Both subjects and predicates may be compound, i.e. there may be two or more subjects and or predicates in a sentence. Usually these are going to be joined by conjunctions. Johnson and Powers ran away and disappeared. So what we have here is two subjects, Johnson and Powers, connected by and two verbs, ran and disappeared, also connected by and. We can also have more than two subjects. For example, Sam, Marlin, and Pedro crashed their horses into each other and jousted. So in this sentence, Sam, Marlin, and Pedro are all subjects, connected by and. They're both crashing and jousting, those two verbs also connected by and. Some sentences may have verbs that are separated by several phrases. For example, did the cat and her kittens sleep in the hall closet last night or hide in the attic? So the subjects of the sentence are cat and kittens. And the cat and kittens are both sleeping and hiding, even though there are several words in between the two verbs. So the verbs of the sentence are sleep and hide. The following coordinating conjunctions can join compound subjects: and, but, nor, or, but, not, and yet. These correlative conjunctions can also join compound subjects: both and, not only but also, either or, neither nor. For this exercise, you will be identifying the subject by writing as above and predicate by double underlining in these sentences. Marina rarely chooses to dance, but loves to hunt weasels. The first thing I identify is the first verb, which is chooses. Then I notice that there are more verbs in the sentence. For example, loves. So I'll double underline loves. Then I'm going to think, what is doing the choosing and the loving? Well, Maria is the one doing the choosing and the loving. Therefore, Maria is the subject. Chapter 2, Sentences and Fragments. A fragment is a group of words that does not contain a subject and a predicate that work together to express a complete statement, question, or command. Note that a fragment may have a subject and predicate that work together, but which are in a dependent clause. Dependent clauses cannot stand alone, and often begin with words like when, if, since, although, because, where, and which. Essentially, if you see those phrases, it is going to be a dependent clause, and therefore, if it's by itself, it will be a fragment.